Iran, the hidden masterpiece the world overlooks. Do you think you know Iran? A land you might recognize only from fleeting headlines, tensions that flash and disappear, a country defined more by what the world says it is than by what it truly holds. But Iran is far more than the noise that reaches the global stage. It is a land of immense complexity, enduring beauty, and knowledge quietly preserved over millennia, hidden beyond the reach of cameras and news cycles, beyond the headlines. What if everything you've been shown was only a fragment? Beyond politics, beyond sanctions, beyond the restless energy of cities, there exists a landscape shaped by mountains, rivers, deserts, and generations of people living in rhythm with them. A land where art, culture, and survival are inseparable, where history is not written on paper, but encoded into memory, body, and place. This is a country that has outlasted empires, endured conquest, and nurtured civilizations that the world rarely remembers. Mountains and nomads. In mountain ranges that stretch farther than California's coastline, people live without fixed borders, without deeds, without maps, yet they know exactly where they belong. The Qashqai and Bakhtiari nomads' traverse passes so narrow and unforgiving that every movement is a matter of life or death. At 4 a.m, with the cold biting and the wind howling, the direction of a ridge, the slope of snow, and the quality of light determine survival. Their lives are a delicate balance between instinct and ancient knowledge, a rhythm learned over generations. These nomadic families carry everything: tents woven from goat hair, looms for weaving intricate carpets, dried food for months of travel, and newborn lambs clinging to their mothers' sides. Every route has been memorized for dozens of generations. Every pass tells a story of endurance, adaptation, and understanding. There are no written maps. There are no GPS coordinates. The mountains themselves are the teacher, and the body is the archive. The living calendar of the Zagros. This is not the Iran of breaking news. This is Iran as it has existed for millennia, a civilization that built no palaces, claimed no thrones, left no monuments, yet outlasted every empire that tried to define it. The Zagros Mountains are not mere terrain. For the nomads, they are a living calendar, a guide for survival. Movement is dictated by temperature, snow, water, and vegetation cycles. Rise with the warmth, descend before the passes close. Every step, every decision, every choice is encoded in memory and passed body to body rather than written in ink. For more than 3,000 years, the Zagros have served as corridors for successive pastoralist cultures: Elamite, Median, Amanid. Each wave of people added knowledge to the same ancient roots, layering centuries of insight onto the landscape. Today, asphalt roads cut across these passes, fragmenting wisdom that has been perfected over generations. Yet the nomads endure, moving as they always have, reading the mountains as if the rocks themselves were speaking. Alborz Mountains and Damavand. Far to the north, the Alborz Range rises abruptly from the Caspian, a volcanic wall of permanent snow, dense forests, and jagged peaks. At its heart stands Damavand, a dormant volcano reaching 18,400 feet, visible from nearly 100 miles on a clear day. This mountain is not simply a landmark, it is a signal, a natural clock marking the summer window when high meadows bloom, pastures become lush, and livestock can graze on mineral-rich grasses. Nomadic families treat Damavand not as scenery, but as a guide. Women set up their looms beneath the foothills, weaving carpets whose patterns encode centuries of tribal knowledge. Children learn to read weather, track animals, and understand medicine for livestock, all from the land itself. Here, survival is not taught in classrooms, it is lived, absorbed from the rhythms of mountains, the sounds of animals, and the shifting patterns of seasons. Climate change and nomadic adaptation. But even in this timeless land, change is unavoidable. Climate change disrupts centuries of wisdom. Glaciers retreat, snowmelt comes earlier, pastures bloom out of sync with the nomads' carefully timed migrations. Families accustomed to arriving at precise altitudes during precise weeks now find grass already gone, water dried, or snow covering what should be pasture. Yet, even in the face of these challenges, the nomads endure. Their resilience is a lesson in adaptation. Survival depends not on permanence but on knowing when to move, when to rest, and how to respond to a landscape that is ever-changing. Every step they take, every path they follow, is an act of intelligence, honed by millennia of observation and experience. Cities, culture, and civilization. Beyond mountains and deserts, Iran's cities reveal another layer of this hidden masterpiece. Isfahan, often called Nesfe Jahan, half the world, is a city where symmetry, light, and reflection turn streets, bridges, and squares into living art. Naqsh Jahan Square, the Shah Mosque, and the Grand Bazaars are not just monuments, they are spaces where history and daily life coexist. Every arch, every tile, every flowing fountain is evidence of a civilization that prizes harmony and ingenuity. Shiraz, the city of poetry and gardens, glows with the color of history. The Nasir al-Mulk Mosque bathes in sunlight through stained glass, turning marble and tile into rivers of color. Aram Gardens' roses bloom alongside flowing channels, creating a vision of paradise crafted by human hands. Here, art and life are inseparable, and beauty is as much a necessity as survival. Persepolis and the echoes of history. And then there is Persepolis. Columns stretch skyward, bas-reliefs immortalize kings and emissaries, and the ruins whisper the ambition of empires long vanished. Here stone preserves memory, telling stories of civilizations whose reach extended across continents. Walking among the ruins, one understands that Iran's genius is not fleeting, it is enduring, inscribed into landscape, culture, and human endeavor. The hidden masterpiece. Iran is not what headlines claim it to be. It is a living archive of human resilience, artistry, and knowledge. Mountains, deserts, rivers, and cities all converge to form a tapestry of survival and beauty. Nomads read the land as we read clocks. Cities preserve architectural harmony across centuries. Gardens, mosques, and ruins encode stories of genius and endurance. This is the Iran the world has overlooked, not a place defined by politics or news, but by precision, patience, and the quiet genius of life itself. In every mountain pass, every river bend, every loom, and every stone, Iran endures. Its hidden masterpiece is waiting to be seen, to be remembered, to be understood. Desert civilizations, Yazd, and the genius of water. In the heart of central Iran, at the edge of the vast Dashti Kavir desert, lies the city of Yazd, a place where survival is not dictated by movement, as in the mountains, but by stillness, patience, and ingenuity. Here life flourishes not through conquest of the terrain, but through understanding it. The desert demands intelligence, observation, and adaptation, and the people of Yazd have perfected both over millennia. Beneath the sands and streets of this ancient city flows a hidden marvel, the Qanat system. These are subterranean channels, carrying life, giving water from distant mountains to the city, stretching over 30 miles without a single pump. Entirely powered by gravity, these channels demonstrate a form of engineering that predates modern technology. Some have operated continuously for more than 2,000 years, silently sustaining generations, outlasting empires, kings, and wars. To walk the streets of Yazd is to walk above a network of human ingenuity older than most nations. Above ground, Yazd responds to the harsh desert climate with architecture that reads like poetry in stone and brick. Wind towers rise above the rooftops, capturing and funneling cool air into subterranean living spaces. Narrow alleyways, often so tight that sunlight barely touches the ground, generate perpetual shade, keeping the city habitable even under a merciless sun. Mud brick walls, thick and porous, absorb heat during the day and release it at night, regulating temperature in ways that echo the intelligence of the Qanat beneath. The city itself is alive, a living organism whose form and function embody thousands of years of trial, error, and observation. For the people of Yazd and the nomadic tribes whose migratory paths intersect its Qanat belt, survival is not simply a question of movement or conquest. It is rooted in understanding the subtleties of water flow, the hidden courses of aquifers, the timing of seasonal winds, the shifting quality of light, and the rhythms of the desert itself. Where mountain herders navigate peaks and passes in constant motion, the people of Yazd have learned to endure, to adapt, to thrive in permanence. Their intelligence is quiet, patient, and precise. Yet the desert is not barren, nor is it passive. To the nomads, it is a vast library of resources, a landscape that teaches if one listens closely. Salt flats, mineral-rich soils, and ephemeral water sources are integrated into carefully timed seasonal grazing strategies. The land's apparent hostility is, in fact, a system, a challenge to be read, understood, and respected. Every caravan, every herd movement, every exchange of goods is encoded with ecological knowledge, honed over thousands of years and passed from one generation to the next. This knowledge is rarely written, it is embodied, spoken in gestures, demonstrated by practice, and reinforced in the rhythm of the seasons. The Dasht-e-Kavir, Iran's Great Salt Desert, might appear at first glance to exclude life entirely. In summer, temperatures exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the sun bakes the salt flats until the horizon disappears into a shimmering mirage, and the landscape seems incapable of sustaining anything. And yet, this desert is deeply woven into the survival economy of the nomads. Its most inhospitable elements, the salt margins along the dried lake beds, provide essential minerals for livestock after months of grazing in high-altitude pastures. Herders who include the Kavir in their migration patterns return with animals stronger, healthier, and more resilient than those who bypass it. This knowledge was discovered empirically, refined over centuries, and preserved orally, a silent wisdom invisible to outsiders, yet essential for life in one of the harshest environments on Earth. In winter, when the desert's extremes are softened by the shadows of surrounding mountains, nomads consolidate in microclimates such as Fuzabad. Here, valleys trap warmth, shelter lambs, and sustain the first green of early pasture. Women work diligently at their looms, weaving Qashqai carpets whose geometric patterns are far more than decoration. Each motif encodes landscapes, cosmology, and tribal identity, mapping generations of knowledge into wool and color. These carpets are portable wealth, functional economic reserves, and visual records of a way of life that defies written history. Men, meanwhile, manage the livestock, maintain migration routes, and prepare for the next cycle of movement. Their work ensures that the balance between desert and mountains, between mobility and permanence, continues uninterrupted. The desert and mountains, survival and artistry, nomadic freedom and settled ingenuity all exist in a delicate equilibrium, refined over millennia. The harshest of landscapes are transformed into structured systems of intelligence, each decision a measure of ecological insight, each movement a calculation of survival. Even as modern pressures encroach, climate change, infrastructure development, urban migration, the legacy of Yazd and its surrounding desert endures. The qanats continue to flow, the wind towers still draw air into underground homes, and the nomads still red the desert as their ancestors did. In this land, intelligence is not written on paper, it is lived. It is measured in the timing of water, the patterns of wind, the grazing of livestock, and the hands of women weaving carpets that encode memory, culture, and survival. Here in Yazd and across the Dasht-e one realizes that human ingenuity is not merely about building or conquering. It is about listening, understanding, and harmonizing with the forces of nature. Survival is a conversation with the land, a dialogue between human precision and ecological rhythm that has persisted for thousands of years. In every qanat, every wind tower, every loom, and every migratory route, the genius of water, stone, and human perseverance is visible. Yazd is not just a city. It is a testament to the resilience and creativity of human beings living in concert with one of the world's harshest deserts. It is a place where stillness breeds wisdom, where permanence sustains life, and where the desert itself teaches lessons that the modern world is only beginning to rediscover. The hidden masterpiece of Iran is not only in its mountains or its cities, but in the quiet, enduring intelligence of its people, who have learned to transform scarcity into abundance, heat into shelter, and sand into a living archive of human ingenuity. Seasonal plateaus and highland life, Iran's enduring nomads. Each June, the high plateaus of Chaharmahal and Bakhtiari awaken from winter's icy hold. Snowmelt rushes down the mountainsides, filling streams and nourishing the soil, releasing a burst of green across the highlands. For a fleeting 8-week window, the meadows flourish, dense, fragrant, and mineral-rich, teeming with life. This ephemeral abundance dictates the rhythm of nomadic migration, guiding herds and people alike through a carefully choreographed journey honed over countless generations. Timing is everything. One day too early or too late, and the herds could suffer. Survival, here, is measured not by distance but by precision. As the column of nomads advances, tents rise like magic across the meadows. In less than an hour, temporary villages emerge, arranged with spatial logic that encodes knowledge of drainage, wind direction, grazing rotation, and social hierarchy. The elder's tent occupies the center. Water sources are deliberately placed to prevent contamination. Livestock pens are positioned with exacting care. Every detail is the result of centuries of observation, trial, and error, a living testament to the intelligence of a people intertwined with their environment. Life on these plateaus is dictated by the pulse of the land. Women weave kilims and pile carpets, their geometric motifs encoding the tribe's symbolic vocabulary, maps of territory, cosmic belief, social hierarchy, and memory. Each design is a narrative, a living ledger of the tribe's connection to land, animals, and ancestors. Men monitor the herds, calculate grazing capacities, and prepare for the descent when winter approaches. The plateau itself functions as treasury, workshop, and social calendar, its life brief yet intensely structured. In 6 to 8 weeks, the tents will be folded, looms packed, and the land left to grass, as if the village had only been imagined. Every movement, every decision, is part of a choreography that has endured for centuries, orchestrated by nature, culture, and survival. Beyond the mountains, the Iranian plateau stretches into the Great Salt Deserts. Lake Namak and the Dasht-e appear inhospitable, almost lifeless. Summers here exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The horizon dissolves into a blinding mirror of salt. Yet, the nomads have incorporated even this desolation into their survival system. Salt margins provide essential minerals absent in high-altitude pastures, fortifying livestock for the journey ahead. This knowledge, never written down, has been observed, refined, and applied empirically over generations. Young herders learn to read subtle signs, which routes to take, which salt flats are safe to cross, and which pastures will sustain their animals. The desert, far from empty, becomes a classroom, pharmacy, and workshop all at once. Winter brings consolidation in sheltered microclimates such as Furubad. Valleys trap warmth, protect newborn lambs, and provide early pasture for livestock. Women focus on weaving carpets that are far more than decoration. Each thread represents months of labor, and each geometric pattern carries knowledge, history, and wealth. These carpets are portable assets, tradable across distant markets, a lifeline for families. Men continue managing herds, maintaining migration paths, and preparing for the seasonal ascent, ensuring the nomadic cycle continues without disruption. Here, in the interplay of labor, tradition, and ecological understanding, the nomadic economy reaches its most concentrated, refined form. Life is unrelenting yet thrives, a balance of hardship, rhythm, and wisdom. In Loristan, the highland landscape softens, transforming into a mosaic of valleys, wetlands, oak scrub, and fertile plains. This is a land built for congregation. Multiple herding communities converge simultaneously, exchanging cash, information, and resources for upcoming journeys. Marriages are arranged, disputes mediated, and agreements forged, all through oral tradition, memory, and trust. Social cohesion operates through reputation accumulated over lifetimes. Modern pressures, however, threaten this balance. Provincial boundaries, fees, infrastructure, and land development are fragmenting centuries-old networks. Yet the principles guiding survival, timing, observation, and adaptation remain as precise today. The plains of Khuzestan stretch toward the Persian Gulf, a broad, flat alluvial landscape nourished by the Karun, Des, and Karkay rivers. Winter floods deposit fertile silt, producing dense grasses that sustain livestock after months in the mountains. At first glance, the plains appear ordinary, vast, horizontal, interrupted only by rivers, canals, and scattered infrastructure. Yet, for nomadic communities completing their seasonal descent, this land is vital. It is a recovery ground, a place where livestock regain strength, and humans prepare for the arduous journey ahead. The modern world has encroached on this delicate ecosystem. Agricultural expansion converts winter grazing lands into cultivated fields. Industrial projects fence off traditional migration routes. Droughts reduce the reliability of rivers that once guaranteed predictability. Families arriving to find barren land must adapt. The intelligence that guided migration for millennia, an acute sense of timing, observation, and adaptation, is now confronted by imposed boundaries, uncertainty, and compromise. Animals in this system are more than livestock. They are living archives, portable wealth, and lifelines. Each sheep and goat embodies generations of knowledge, where to graze, when to move, how to survive the challenges of both mountains and deserts. In Khuzestan, the collision of tradition and modernity is stark. Nomadic wisdom persists, but must navigate political borders, industrial landscapes, and climate disruption. This is Iran at the intersection of past and future, a land where millennia-old practices confront the pressures of modernity. While the highlands and plains preserve ecological knowledge, Iran's urban centers tell a complementary story. Cities draw the youth of nomadic families with the promise of education, employment, and modern comforts. Each departure frays a thread of ancestral wisdom, oral traditions of migration, the practical ecological understanding embedded in each movement, and the delicate rhythms of seasonal pastures face gradual erosion. The modern world offers convenience and opportunity, yet it cannot teach the language of mountains, the salt of deserts, or the precise timing embedded in centuries of nomadic survival. For those straddling both worlds, life is a negotiation between permanence and mobility, tradition and change, survival and aspiration. From the plains, we arrive in Isfahan, a city that embodies the timeless elegance of Iran. Naksh-e-Jahan Square radiates symmetry, reflection pools, and architecture perfected over centuries. The Shah Mosque, with its turquoise domes, intricate mosaics, and soaring minarets, captures sunlight as though the structure itself breathes. In the bustling bazaar, artisans continue age-old practices, weaving silk, crafting metalwork, painting intricate tiles. The city thrives, yet every corner whispers history, memory, and cultural persistence. The permanence of Isfahan contrasts with the mobility of the nomads, yet both systems share the same underlying principles: precise understanding of space, time, and survival. Isfahan's beauty lies not only in stone and tile, but in the endurance of culture, the preservation of knowledge, and the human spirit's ability to thrive across centuries. Each courtyard, mosque, and fountain tells a story of patience, ingenuity, and balance, a civilization in dialogue with its land and its people. Across Iran, from highland plateaus to desert salt flats, from winter microclimates to vibrant cities, one sees continuity and contrast. Nomads live in harmony with the rhythms of nature, while urban centers demonstrate the permanence of human culture. Mountains, deserts, rivers, and cities, all are stages upon which Iranian life unfolds, each with its own rules, intelligence, and artistry. Survival here is not a matter of technology or political maneuvering alone, but of understanding, observing, adapting, and respecting the natural and social landscapes that have sustained life for millennia. This is Iran beyond headlines, beyond politics, and beyond the fleeting attention of the world. It is a land of intricate knowledge, enduring traditions, and landscapes that demand both reverence and ingenuity. From the seasonal plateaus to the Great Plains, from the deserts of Yazd to the turquoise domes of Isfahan, Iran reveals itself as a living archive of survival, of art, of ecological intelligence, and of a human spirit that has endured against every odds. Here, the rhythm of life is precise, beautiful, and relentless. Every migration, every tent, every loom, and every animal speaks to a continuity that stretches back thousands of years. The hidden masterpiece of Iran is not just its mountains or deserts, its rivers or cities, but the intelligence, resilience, and artistry of its people, a civilization quietly persisting, observing, and thriving, teaching lessons the world has yet to fully appreciate. Cultural heart of Iran, Isfahan, Shiraz, and Persepolis, a hidden masterpiece. Isfahan, Nesfi Jahan, half of the world. Isfahan, often called Nesfi Jahan, half of the world, embodies a civilization that understood balance, harmony, and beauty. The city is a living testament to the art of human precision, where every bridge, square, and mosque tells a story not only of architectural ingenuity, but also of philosophy, mathematics, and cultural vision. The Kaju Bridge, spanning the Zayande River, is more than a crossing. It is a social hub, a stage for human interaction, and a canvas for light and shadow that shifts with the passage of the sun. Locals gather along its arches, children play in the reflection pools below, and the whispers of centuries-long conversations linger in the air. At night, lanterns illuminate the stonework, turning water and architecture into a mirrored dance of light. The bazaars of Isfahan hum with life, each alleyway alive with merchants whose voices have echoed across generations. Carpets, textiles, spices, and trinkets tell stories of distant lands, trade routes, and the hands that crafted them. Artisans in tiny workshops shape metal, carve wood, and paint tiles with precision, maintaining traditions that stretch back centuries. Here, culture is not static. It breathes, evolves, and intertwines seamlessly with the rhythm of modern life, preserving knowledge in every gesture, pattern, and transaction. Shiraz, the city of poetry and gardens. Shiraz, the city of poetry, gardens, and wine, carries the very soul of Iran within its streets. It is a city of reflection, where history and nature converge. The Nasir al-Mulk Mosque, known as the Pink Mosque, transforms sunlight into liquid color. Through its stained glass, every ray becomes a painter's brush, illuminating the interior with vibrant patterns that shift as the sun moves across the sky. In Ihram Garden, roses bloom alongside flowing water channels, a living example of Persian ingenuity in designing a paradise on earth. Every fountain, every walkway, every tree is placed with intent, balancing human vision with ecological function. The garden demonstrates centuries of thought applied to water management, plant cultivation, and aesthetic harmony. In Shiraz, past and present coexist. Gardens, mosques, and tombs honor ancient wisdom while serving contemporary lives, showing that beauty is not decoration, but an active, living practice. Persepolis, the ceremonial heart of an empire. And then there is Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of the Achaemenid Empire, a monumental expression of human ambition and precision. Here, stone columns rise dramatically against the sky, bas-reliefs immortalize kings, soldiers, and emissaries from distant lands, and staircases whisper tales of elaborate court life. Walking among these ruins, one can almost hear the echoes of ceremonial footsteps, the subtle rustle of royal robes, and the quiet hum of empire. Persepolis is more than ancient ruins. It is a record of governance, art, and cultural ingenuity. It embodies the meticulous planning, architectural mastery, and cosmopolitan vision of civilizations that thrived thousands of years ago. In the interplay of shadow and light across these stones, one senses not just history but a dialogue with the present, a reminder that human ambition can create beauty that endures far beyond political power or fleeting headlines. Iran beyond headlines. Iran is a country often misunderstood, defined by the world through politics, sanctions, and fleeting news cycles. Yet the true essence of Iran lies beyond these snapshots. In its mountains, deserts, and plains, nomads maintain precise seasonal rhythms guided by memory, intuition, and centuries of observation. In cities, artisans preserve culture and knowledge in every tile, every loom, every brushstroke. In ruins like Persepolis, the human endeavor of millennia whispers across time, reminding us that history is both fragile and eternal. Its people, whether nomads, artisans, or city dwellers, live within a framework of traditions spanning millennia. They navigate mountains, rivers, deserts, and cities with a profound ecological intelligence, a sensitivity to geography, and an understanding of social and environmental systems that modern society often overlooks. Carpets, calligraphy, gardens, and mosques encode knowledge as much as beauty. The rhythms of life are precise, migration, planting, weaving, and trade follow patterns perfected across generations, survival, artistry, and endurance. Iran is a hidden masterpiece because it demonstrates that survival is an art, culture is a language, and knowledge is lived, not merely recorded. Nomads read mountains like clocks, anticipate river flows, and gauge pastures with unmatched precision. Urban centers like Isfahan balance beauty and function, where every courtyard, fountain, and dome speaks to human ingenuity and aesthetic mastery. Gardens and mosques harmonize human ambition with natural rhythms, demonstrating that architecture and ecology need not conflict, but can coexist in profound synergy. Even deserts, which at first appear lifeless, reveal sophisticated ecological intelligence. Salt flats provide minerals for livestock, while qanats, underground water channels spanning decades of innovation, carry life through arid landscapes. Cities, mountains, deserts, and plains all contribute to an integrated system of human and environmental survival. The hidden masterpiece revealed. Across mountains, deserts, plains, and cities, Iran has endured, not because it was easy, but because its people mastered resilience. Nomads navigate landscapes without maps, guided by instinct, memory, and the language of the land. Cities like Isfahan and Shiraz preserve centuries of architectural and cultural mastery, where every tile, dome, and garden is a record of human ingenuity. And in ruins like Persepolis, the ambition of ancient empires speaks across time, reminding us that history is both delicate and eternal. Iran is more than headlines, politics, or fleeting crises. It is the rhythm of mountains, the pulse of rivers, the endurance of people, and the elegance of culture preserved through centuries. It is a land where survival, tradition, and beauty are inseparable. Knowledge is lived, not merely written, and art and life are intertwined. Every corner of the landscape tells a story of patience, precision, and purpose. This is Iran, a hidden masterpiece the world has long overlooked, a civilization that teaches us that true mastery is not in conquest, but in understanding, not in domination, but in living harmoniously with the land and the seasons. For those who take the time to see beyond fleeting headlines, Iran offers lessons in endurance, beauty, and the quiet, astonishing genius of life itself. If this journey through Iran has inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends who love culture, history, and travel. Subscribe to our channel for more hidden masterpieces from around the world. Share your thoughts below. Which city, garden, or mountain would you most like to visit? And hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest explorations. Join us as we continue to uncover the hidden stories, extraordinary landscapes, and timeless traditions that make our world so rich and unforgettable. Iran endures, and so does its story, waiting for those who choose to look beyond the surface.